Hey guys, it is Michelle. I'm finally doing a live session with you. Sorry it took me a minute. I had to figure out the buttons on the whole live situation. I have some questions from some fans. They kind of they posted some questions on Twitter, so hi guys. So I thought I would answer some of those questions. Let me grab them. Give me a second. All right, so Felisa Mona Lisa asks if I have any aspirations to direct or write. So yes, I do. And it's taken me about a good 15 years to have the audacity to do such a thing. And I happen to be working on rewriting a script right now for a producer. And hopefully if it goes off the ground and he likes what I do, then I will be getting that into a feature film. And who knows what'll happen after that. I think that there's a big need for all the actresses out there and all of the females out there especially to lend their voice however they can to creatively to make features. And I just feel like the female voice, we haven't discovered it yet. Not truly, not really dove in to see what that is. It's always been through a guy's eye. And so I think it's kind of cool, you know, when women go out there and start laying it down. So I'm gonna go to the next question. And Nadine Horn, wow, you asked a good one. How to find life's purpose, and once you found it, how to keep the faith when the world beats you down. It sounds like the story of my life. I feel like I just put my swords down for the first time in a very long time. Well, finding your purpose for me, and I can only speak for myself, right? Finding your purpose. For me, that point happened to me in New York. I was young. I quit high school. And my brother was egging on me to get a job. And I decided to go to a technical school to kind of like learn how to, I don't know, do office work. And I remember I was 3 months into some technical school program in New York, in Manhattan, and I used to live in Jersey at the time. And I used to hop on the train to Port Authority, 42nd Street in New York. This is the late 90s, before Giuliani truly cleaned it up. And I remember coming home from school and realizing how miserable everybody looked in their 9-to-5 jobs with their suitcases and their formal dress. People had black under their eyes from deprivation of sunlight. And that was the point in time where I decided that I was going to find what it was that was my calling. Even if I had to go broke or be poor or whatever it took, I knew that I didn't belong in an office. And so I think for me that was my purpose moment. That was when I realized that I can't just do what everybody else does, because I'll be miserable if I did. And so this goes to a quote from one of my favorite guys who ever lived. His name was Joseph Campbell. And he said, follow your joy, and the rest will fall into place. And so I've been doing that. And it led me out of the ghetto. It led me to a quite lucrative career in film. And so, and yeah, when the world beats you down, that's another one. That takes faith. And I think that faith comes from a deep respect for the fact that your mother gave you birth. for the fact that you are alive, and for the fact that that's not something that you could just throw away or give away to somebody for any reason. So that gave me just my presence, just my family, just knowing that I struggled so much to get to where I am, led me to fight for it, to fight for who I am and what I represent. And so, like, even if it meant that I would lose all my money and I would lose everything that I had, I knew deep down inside, through every moment where I was challenged, where I almost went broke, where, you know, producers were fighting with me or considering me hard to work with, just because I would stand up for myself and say, I'm not taking my clothes off, or I'm not getting with this guy, or I don't think that's the way to, you know, you guys are looking for shortcuts on stardom. I want the long haul. For all those things that I had to stand up for, I had to remind myself that, you know, that I got here through generations and generations of humans who fought for me to be here. And that gave me kind of like a sense of purpose, and it made me feel a lot stronger than any of these business people who were making decisions that would affect my life, than anybody who was imposing their power over me, or anyone who was trying to take my power away in my career. And so I found that that helped me stand tall and really have faith in who I am and what I stand for. So, I don't know, it worked for me. I'm not so sure, you know, if everybody's the same, everyone's different, but I hope that answers your question. I'm going to the next. Sorry. What's been my most memorable moment in my life or career to date? That's tough, because my life is one thing, and my career is a completely different thing. If I were to rate my most memorable moment in life, that's tough. It's a tough one. I've had a couple memorable moments. In my career, my most memorable moment was, I would say two. It was standing in the Gobi Desert watching an eagle hunting festival in the middle of the Gobi Desert. And I had an eagle hunter come up to me and ask me for a selfie. The second time something extraordinary like that happened was a pygmy in Africa, in Gabon. And the fact that these people, these humans that, like, you know, literally barely see, you know, cities or barely see the developed world, who are living in either a forest somewhere, taking care of animals, or hanging out with eagles in the desert in Mongolia, the fact that they've ever watched my work or anything that I've done kind of put things in perspective for me in a way that I'd never felt it before. And so I'd have to say those are two of the most memorable moments in my career, just because I realized the reach of the platform of making American Hollywood feature films. And so for me, that was like, it was beautiful in a sense, because they felt included, and it was because they felt that they could relate to me. And I love that, because that means that my work, I do it with an open heart, and it reaches people in a way where they feel comfortable enough to consider me a part of their world. And so I feel really privileged to have that opportunity, and I'm just super grateful. So for me, that's like the most memorable moments in my career. As far as in life, I'd have to say the spiritual stuff, the evolutionary growth, when you, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not tangible, you know? I can't really point my finger at exactly what it is that makes you wake up and not want to play with toys anymore. I'm still an overgrown kid, and I think I'll always have that element in me, because I'm always curious, and I'll always be looking and searching, and I'm always trying to keep an open mind and trying to be playful with life. But I think that the most memorable moments in my life have to do with a growth and evolution where I finally understand things in a way. And if I had a way to explain that to you, I guess it would be my shift, most recently in the last like 2 years. From chasing sensations around the world and parties and looking around for what the latest jam is, wanting to be in the middle of whatever is happening in the collective. That desire disappeared. All of a sudden, I got a calmness to me when I turned 40. It was almost like I didn't need to go out there to look for anything anymore. I almost felt like it's okay to be with myself, like everything I need is right here, you know? And so I stopped chasing. There's no FOMO in me, you know? And that was a big... that usually happens for normal humans at like 30. Let's just say I'm a little late to the whole situation, but I'm glad that happened. So for me, that was the most memorable moment, I think, for me in my life, because, you know, searching is a big thing for me. And when I stop searching and feel like I have everything I need right here, it's pretty powerful. It's a very stabilizing thing that can happen to you in life. You guys are so sweet. You're sending so much love. I'm so grateful. Here's the next. Christina Gomez is asking, if I could meet anybody from the past, who would it be? Whew, that's a good one. Gosh, there's so many people. Lady Magdalene, if she ever existed. I think Lady Magdalene would have been intriguing, because here's this individual that the world kind of understands as maybe the possible, I'm not even going to say it, because then there's so many different people who are very religious and they might get offended. But in Gnostic mysticism, Lady Magdalene is a very, very special person, because there's an understanding that these women in the past used to be initiators. They used to help initiate people into knowledge. And over the course of lots of studying, Lady Magdalene, who was by the side of Jesus for a very long time, was supposed to be one of these figures. And of course, it's highly controversial because, you know, a lot of information was burned in the libraries of Alexandria, the Vatican. Not like everybody can hang out and go and visit their libraries. So, you know, and it's funny how this information would come down in 2019 to somebody like me. I just think that by talking to her, I would really get a lot of really cool information about this missing idea of what the female's true position in society throughout the ages has been. Because the books that all the men wrote isn't really good enough to satisfy my thirst for understanding that. And I think that there's just a switch of matriarchal to patriarchal that nobody wants to talk about. Look at that bird, isn't it beautiful? That's a red tail. So yeah, Lady Magdalene would be my choice. And if she didn't exist, I would settle for Joseph Campbell. Oh my God, I would talk to him for hours, because he researched not only religions around the world, but literature and anthropological research of just all of these fascinating myths from the East all the way to the West. And I just really adore him. And I think he would satisfy so much of my curiosity about the world. All right, so I'll go to the next. Would I ever write a biography? You know what? I'm not that into myself. I'm not into myself enough to care to write a biography. Like, you know, I'm kind of one of those people that if I died tomorrow and nobody remembered me, I really wouldn't care. You know? I'm not kind of obsessed with the idea of immortalizing myself in statues or in memory of humans. I'm more interested in evolving and growing. I kind of, don't really, I don't know, I never paid mind to my life, and it's definitely, I think it would be interesting to a lot of people, and maybe a lot of people who've suffered to get out of poverty would enjoy or relate to my story. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever thought about doing a biography. And I also, my family is really private, we suffered a lot in our lives, and I think that all that suffering, we'd rather just bury it than talk about it, And so I just don't see it might benefit people by inspiring them. If they have their own problems, they might look at my problems and be inspired to fight through them, or, love their families, or whatever it is. I guess it's important to share things. That's what we do as a society, as people. We inspire each other as much as we can. I'll think about that. You're making me think about it, so I will. Gaily Blanco asks, what are the most important life lessons you've learned in the last few years? Oh, God. You know what? There's another great quote from Shakespeare that I just really adore, because it really put in a nutshell how I feel about what I've learned in the last few years. Expectation leads to heartache. Expectation is the root of all heartache, or something like this. I'm horrible at accuracy and quoting, but you get the point. I feel like every single time that I suffered in my life is because I expected the situation to turn out different. And then I realized something else that was even more powerful, is that I can literally give something in my mind weight or take it away. And what I mean by that is, if I lose my livelihood, let's say, everything is in the shitter, life just horrible, and I can't find a way out of my situation. And I give that situation itself weight. I feel miserable, get depressed, I cry about it, I moan about it, I can't eat, I can't sleep. I just keep giving this weight to the situation. The minute that I realized, and this happened in the last 2 years, that I have literally the power to give that problem its value, that's when I realized I also have the power to take it away. So I'm the one choosing to be miserable, and I'm the one who's choosing to give the weight of the problem its weight. If a person who insults you is all of a sudden not important anymore in your mind, then that insult is nothing. You know what I mean? And so it kind of opened my whole new world. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Now I get what he meant by brush that dirt off your shoulder. Yeah, it allowed me to just clean my mind, and allowed me to put everything in perspective in a way that I never was able to do before. And so I'd say that was my my biggest life lesson in the last 2 years, was learning how I can give or take away value of things in my own mind. And that really led me to take power over my own life in a way that I never had before. So that was quite good. I'll go back to another question. Michelle Farina asks, what country have you visited that has given you the most peace? And I would have to say Peru. It was a bunch of years ago, 4 years ago, that I was last in Peru. But I have never felt the kind of peace that I have felt hiking the mountains in Peru from Cusco to Machu Picchu doing a pilgrimage walk, I'd have to say that that place, as a place itself, as an energy force itself, just has. It's the earthy thing. I mean, if you're not into earthy things, it might not be your vibe, but I'm a big Pachamama fan. And so I'm all about this thing. I'm all about the grass, and I'm all about the trees, and I'm all about like for me, trees are like the veins of the earth. They're like the nervous system. I think like this place is just like an organism. And when I was in Peru, I felt like I was near its heart, you know? There's something magical about the place. It's pumping, you know? You've got ice, you've got snow, you've got moss, you've got lakes, you've got hot, you've got cold. It's pretty fabulous. And the greatest vegetable biodiversity like on the planet. If you go to the seed banks, you'll find most of the seeds there are from Peru. So I really love that place. It's beautiful. And I'll go to the next question. La Isnara de Silva says, what dreams do I want to accomplish this year? I don't time my dreams. You know, I really have like in Germany, I would just be horrible. In Switzerland, I would be horrible. And in Japan, I would be horrible. All these people, all these cultures that respect time. I'd be the worst because in my world, there is no time. So my dreams, I keep them open and they happen when they happen, you know. I don't put timetables on them. I probably should so I can accomplish more before I die, but I'm pretty organic at how I choose things and how I hope to accomplish them. I don't really, I guess I'm too intuitive for my own good. But yeah, I think the writing thing is a big, you know, because it took me a long time to have the audacity to do it. And so for me, it's a big one because I'm super picky and, you know, I'm super judgmental about myself. And so this is going to be hard. Wish me luck. I hope I'm good at it. Most of my stuff is kids stuff. I just hope they're into it. Priscilla asked a question. She said something about being an inspiration and an example to people and how that makes me feel. I'm a little weirded out by it, I guess. Because, you know, I mean, if anybody's like a human who makes tons of mistakes, it's me. I mean, basically my first interview was leave room for mistakes. And so, God, I've made a lot since then. I think I was 20 years old for my first interview. I'd have to say, you know, all those fans out there, you're really open-minded because a lot of them stuck around through all these years, you know. Just really sweet and kind, and I'm super grateful for that. It makes me feel good, and I do feel pressure, you know, to not be an a-hole and to be a good person as much as I can, and to try to evolve and, you know, be good and kind because people are watching, and I get that. Now, I respect that, at least. Now I do. I probably didn't like 6 years ago. Maybe less than that. But yeah, I try to watch my mouth as much as possible and you know, be careful about what I say and do. But I also remind myself that I only get one life, and I can't live it for other people either. So, you know, there's a fine line that you walk, like being a public figure and also being human on this planet in the middle of, you know, the universe spinning around. A lot of people forget that, and then they get closed into these little holes, these little pockets of how I should act, how I should be, and who I am and what that means. I'm not caught up in all that kind of stuff. So just leave room for mistakes, because, you know, I'm not always going to fit into people's molds. I'm weird, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to go to the next question. What bands are you listening to at the moment? I would say Acid Poly, Blondish, Jose Gonzalez. I like underground stuff, pop culture stuff. Top 40 doesn't really touch my soul. And I don't like all the noise. I feel like everything is hyper. I don't know what they do to all the tracks that are top 40, but I can't hear the individual instruments, and it really bugs me. I think they compress everything, all the files, and I'm a sound snob. I like Max Richter when I'm in a more mellow mood and I just want to hear piano and I want to hear myself think. I really love Philip Glass. I'm big into classical music. I love me some Nina. I love me some Billie Holiday. It all depends on the mood. You know, if I feel like house music, I'd go Acid Poly, Blondish. I'd probably go Alex Cruz with it. But yeah, these days I like to listen to instrumental a lot. So sometimes if I feel like throwbacks, I'll go Tribe Called Quest, or I'll hit something like that on Spotify, and I'll make a whole radio station out of it without words. It'll be all instrumental stuff. So I get all the dope beats without the noise. So it's great. And that was my last question. So I'm going to go over to the live fans now and try to hear you guys out. But you're moving quite fast. Let's see what we got. We got Sandra Moreno. What exactly? You know? Aw, you guys are talking about the mold. Thank you. So sweet. Oh, we're getting love from Brazil, too. Beautiful. You guys are really, really sweet to me, man. Traes de paz. Yeah. Yeah, I love Acid Poly. They're great. Sunday is Easter. What are your thoughts and feelings about Sunday being the third year? The third year, I couldn't see. Oh, it's moving so fast, I can't. Okay, I remember. Art movies. Ah, yeah. Fast and Furious. Yes, of course. Okay. Of course, I'll answer. I don't have any participation answers for you. I haven't read a script yet. But I did meet with the amazing director, and he seems to have like a really, really, really passionate take on what the future of the franchise looks like. And I just can't wait to see what he cooks up. I'm excited because, you know, the guy's been a part of the franchise for a very long time, Justin Lin. And he really cares, you know. He's been around since Paul was around, and he really loved Paul, and he really understands that this franchise, what it means, you know, to people, and how people grew up with it around the world, and how, you know, it actually represents something. And I think that he gets what that is. And so I can't wait to read the script, and I really won't know about anything until I read it. So I'm just super excited. I got to meet with him in London, and he seems like he's really on board to make something awesome. And so I'm really excited about that. Wanted to spend time with family on Easter. You know, anybody ever tried to look what Easter, what the whole egg and the bunny rabbit really mean? Esther is Ishtar from Sumeria. It's actually pronounced Easter. And she's a fertility goddess, kind of like Isis in Egypt. And it's kind of interesting how those things sneak in, because her symbol was the egg. Hence why bunnies and eggs, it's so funny. I just find it interesting how, like, Christianity kind of, like, sneaks all those old school stuff in there. I love Easter. I think it's great. Kids get to run around and pick eggs and hide them, and everybody dresses up, and you're celebrating the spring equinox. It's beautiful. Oh, we got some love from Jersey City. That's great. Oh, we got some love from Florida. It was beautiful talking to you guys. I love you guys. Third year anniversary since what? What is this? Third year anniversary since going home. You Prince fan. I love Prince. Aw. Down to peep up game knowledge. Oh, you guys are beautiful, man. I could read here all day. It's kind of cold out here. I'm just so happy that I got to look. I've been in my cave for a very long time, and it's because I had to go through some growing pains. If you noticed, I cut my hair and everything. I went to Egypt and Mexico and had a lot of internal moments that have changed me for life, and I'm just really grateful that you guys are still there, showing your love and support. And so nothing. So like, hopefully you'll like the new me. Yeah. And so lots of love and respect, and I'm super grateful for all the fans out there. Illinois in the house, what? Mary, like what? Aw. You guys are so sweet. Anyway, thanks for being there for all these years and showing your love and support. And I promise to keep you posted. I will connect and be more connected to you guys now that I'm out of my cave. And hopefully you like what I'm cooking up. And wish me some luck with the writing, because that's what I'm doing now. Lots of love, guys. Bye.